what did you just pick up from what we're discussing in terms of exposure and progression of the Harambee Starlets?
What I picked up was when you're speaking about age and about how important it is to allow the parents, you know, when you're dealing, especially with females, there's always that sensitivity when it comes to their parents. And we know in sports, the best time to mold a player is between 13
Absolutely.
to 16. So I think educating the parents on the importance of the talent, when you see your child, your female child, has the talent, like there's that importance of educating the parents as well. If my girl can play ball at the age of 13, she can play ball. I mean, they need to know that it's also something a female can actually earn from.
Yeah.
And I something.
Yeah, and I think because Nicoletta said, when you incorporate a parent into the child's training system, is because most of our parents keep on telling us not to play football because they don't watch what we are capable of on the field. So your parent has got to be there to see that I got to let this kid do what he wants to do because he's passionate and you're good at it. Because if he doesn't watch you play, Delvin, you go home, he'll keep on telling you, don't play football.
Yeah, very rightfully. So you have to make them believe in what you're trying to achieve.
They have to be your number one fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Coach David Ouma, now I would like to discuss now the players in your squad. And when we want to break, the one and only Sami Mwaziri had asked you about a certain Gentrix Shikangwa, only 18 years old right now, and she plays with so much maturity. What's the secret behind her progression and for her to play with? You'd think that she's probably in a prime, 25-year-old.
Yeah, it's a great situation. Okay, of course, the situation is it takes a courageous coach to put, for example, a 16 years old, a 17 years old in the national team. For example, going to the Turkish Women Cup also, we had a player of 7. So, having said so, zeroing in that the players, they have to take these chances because, you know, these players, they are coming from the clubs and they have been scouted in respective position where they are. So, for me, to talk about the development of Gentrix Shikangwa, you should know that this year we are talking, she turned 18. But remember, 2 years ago in 2017, we brought Gentrix in the Harambee Starlets. So in 2017. So it's about the patience, for example, that a coach can have with a player. So we had Gentrix in 2017, which was much younger. Also 2018, she was there, but she was not making in the squad. And last year, in the third year, you could see what Gentrix could do. She was
during the Sekafa Championship, she did score a hat-trick against Djibouti. She scored 2 goals in that final victory against Tanzania as well. Now, a bit of a weird question for you, Coach Ouma. Now, they're taking us a few months back to the Olympic qualifiers. That game against, was it Zambia? At extra time, Ghana at extra time. The decisive penalty, 17 years old, Shikangwa steps up at that moment to take that decisive penalty. What was going through your mind at that time?
I was very happy and fantastic about it because, of course, the player, we already realized and knew who was going to take this penalty. And you could see she put her class in that penalty. And what a fantastic moment that coaches would like to see. This is the moment that you celebrate your player.
Oh, well said there. Now, Salim, I saw you there. I think you had a question regarding Gentrix Shikangwa. I'll let you shoot it now to Coach Ouma.
Coach, they say if you have a striker who you know will score goals for you, there is no essence from starting him on the bench. But many a time I've seen you, and most of the time Shikangwa comes off the bench. Is it a trick that you've learned to use, or you just think she has not come of age yet to be starting for you as a number 9 or as a number 10? Because many a time you bring her on, she scores goals. And against Ghana, she took the penalty because I think she was trying to make a statement to you to be starting him in the first 11.
I think, first of all, I'd like to answer the question in 2 parts. One thing we should realize as a coach, we understand the strengths of each player. Yeah. At the moment that I'm bringing the player, for example, to the national team camp. Of course, and the situation about Gentrix, you should realize that she was there in 2017, 2018. Nobody realized him. Only in 2019, last year, we could realize what Gentrix could do. So for us, in terms of the tactical behavior and the approach that we had for the 2019 season, Gentrix was the wild card for us. And if you are very keen in how I used Gentrix, there are some moments I brought her just immediately before halftime. Some moments I brought her immediately after halftime. and some moments when the match was ending. So it was depending solely on the tactical behavior. For example, the team will change its pattern from the beginning. You have to check what are the weaknesses of the opponent that you are facing. For example, if I realize it's on the 25th minute, then this is the moment you identify the player that is capable to exploit that opportunity. And for me, I think in the matches that we played last year, 16 matches, Gentix did superb in terms of at the moment that we pushed him at that moment. Not that all the other players didn't do so. For example, if you look at the Ethiopia game, the player who changed this game was Marcia Hiro. Yeah. So, and Marcia Hiro, she was coming from the bench. So for me as a coach, sometimes you have to have what is called the good squad mentality and the right balance of your team. Because if you put all your cards together and they don't succeed, go through, who will unlock the door for you? So I think Gentix was our last key to the door of goals, for example, if I may say.
Okay, and Gentrix definitely is paying back your faith, the faith that you put in her by giving her so many opportunities. And Coach Ouma has mentioned the wild card, as Nicolette likes to call them. You always have to have a wild card.
You have to have a trick up your sleeve.
You do have to have, and the coach has mentioned there that you cannot just lay all your guns out.
Yeah, true.
From the get-go, you have to have that wild card, as Nicolette likes to say, on the bench. Someone who can just come in the second half
and change
change that game a little bit. Now, Coach, I want us to discuss a certain someone. This player has been making a lot of headlines, trending. Mwanalima Adam, my God, her performances. She is something to watch in the future. Now, as a coach, where do you see her being in the next 2 or 3 seasons' time?
Yeah, of course. For me, I think now we have a good learning curve in the Turkish Women Cup. So if I would like to project where we'll be in the next 3 years, in football, you meet twice. And after twice, it becomes a repeated situation. So what I would like to say is we'll be playing, I would like again to play Chile. This is the mentality that we came with. We lost to them, yes, and it was, we were not disappointed about the loss, but we learned from it. And now our situation is, in the next 3 years, we would like, for example, in our FIFA rankings, that we improve so that our players can have that good confidence and exposure while playing outside us. Like now, we have players who are playing professionally. So this is the aspect that as a coach, I would like to see. I would like to see more players not only being too comfortable to be in the national team, but also to fight to play professional football. You should notice that every player aspires to play in the national team, which promotes the talent of any specific nation. So for me, players, they have to take the chances that they have. If you have one chance for the national team to play your heart out, let their scouts see you and expose yourself as a career. We have been patient enough at the national team. Some of the players have already 10 caps. Some of them have over 30 caps. So what is the reason that, for example, you continue playing for over 35 caps, 50 caps, and you are not scouted, and yet there's a new talent that I can gamble with, and for example, he plays professional? These are the fundamental questions for me as a coach that in the next coming years, I'll be putting on task. How many players are you able to promote at the national team so that they can get they can get their professional contracts abroad? Having done so, it means they'll have more playing times, more matches every situation, because at the moment, our players are playing below 50 matches in a year. This is too minimal, because under 10, under 13, under 15, they have to play more than 50 matches in a year. So this is not possible at current situation. That's why I urge all the players that are watching us to use the opportunity they have in the national team, be it 2-3 call-ups, sufficiently to ensure that they meet their professional stint.
Okay, now let me just come back here on studio. Now, Mwanalima Adam, she's been getting the praises, deservedly so. We've seen her performances out of this world. I know she's probably your favorite player in the Kenyan women national team.
Of course.
Now, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think now, for her, as we've seen her performances, the progress has been there, do you think it's only her that can stop herself from making it elite?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, it will always boil down to you as an individual, how far you want to go in your career and how far you want to play for. But for her, I feel like you have to, as an individual, set a path for yourself. What do you want to achieve?
Is it her that will stop herself from getting where she wants to be?
It's you as an individual to set your path. How far do you want to go?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you watch Mona Lima Adam play, I think FIFA's got to come up with a rule that can allow a woman to play in a male's team, because she can play for Harambee Stars as a proper number 10. And we have been lucky that player for a long, long time.
The famous number 2 jersey.
Absolutely. And when you watch her play, I think she's the one who makes Harambee Stars stick, because she wants to come with something extra out of the box.
She reminds you of an Iniesta sort of player.
Absolutely. And with her stature, she's very, very difficult to mark again, and she's quick, she's just composed. And as Nicoletta said, her playing for Juga Dance in the Belgian league, I think it's a statement already, because she's already playing the national team. She can only stop herself, Delvin.
Okay, now back to you, Coach. Now I want to ask you now, we've seen a number of players being scouted here by European clubs. And why do you think it is that European clubs are coming here to Kenya to scout these ladies?
I think for me, you know, Harambee Starlets always have a soft spot for the Kenyan population, because it's supported very well. So for me, I think what the federation has done until now to expose for example, the team, or to promote the talents within the country, has caught an eye of many agencies and also intermediaries across the world. So this is very important, because you know now she's having a lot of interest, including from the Turkish Women Cup teams from England. They would like to have her, as just like from the discussion that you are making. Not only Sweden, but now also in England. Okay, so, and also in Spain. So for me, as a coach, what is my thought? My thought will be, if Mona Lima currently has her name across the world, she has to make it happen. Just like what you are saying, she has to make it happen for herself, so that she gives me an easier time as a coach to develop now, like a player like Sylvia Makungu or Jen Njeri in her position, so that tomorrow also Jen Njeri can follow the footsteps of Mona Lima. The story is like this. Can you imagine, in our Harambee Starlets camp, already Mona Lima is a role model to some of the players.
Yeah, true.
I asked a player, I asked a player, for example, I have made a first call-up to this player, and I say, okay, can you tell us maybe what is your expectation here at the Harambee Starlets? He said, my expectation, I've been watching Mona Lima playing, I would like to be like Mona Lima. So what does it tell you? Mona Lima is playing on borrowed time at Harambee Starlets.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and definitely she looks like, as Coach there has mentioned, she's a role model for, and she's only 22 years old, being a role model for the players who are coming up now. Yeah. Just tells you she probably be a future captain for the Harambee Starlets as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because for any national team, you've got to have that one player that everyone looks up to. Because when you've seen time and time again, when this player all these others look up to is on his game, you win games much more easily. Yeah. And you've seen time and time again at Harambee Starlets, when Mona Lima is on top of his game, the games are much easier. Yeah. The Gentrix can come on and do their magic. So I think for me, you must have this kind of a player. And for me, if she becomes a captain, it will be deservedly so, because she has showed her quality on the football pitch and her leadership skills.
Nicolette, your thoughts on that? Probably a future captain for the Harambee Starlets.
Of course, because you know, another thing, like Coach is saying, I will join a club or a team because of who is playing in that team. So you have a captain like that. It attracts younger people as well. It attracts other players as well to join Harambee Starlets. It gives people the morale to want to play. You get? Yeah. So yeah, a future captain, yes, that would be a very good move.
Yeah, and again, when you have a player who is playing in a professional league, you see, when we are going to play against Ghana, once Victor Wanyama shows up, there's just that fear in the Black Stars players, because you have a player who is playing up there, he has died. So when you have this kind of, like someone like Mona Lima Adam, you go and play against Chile, all the Harambee Stars players are chilled, because they know they have someone who can go toe-to-toe with the likes of the Chilean lady players.
Yeah.
Okay, now back to you, Coach Ouma. Now, it's very, as we have been mentioning, it's very important to have these youth academies coming up, bringing in fresh faces into the national team. But then again, how important is it to have an experienced head in that camp? Because our captain, Shikobe, is 31 years of age right now. Yeah. How important is our experience on and off the field?
Yeah, I think for me, sometimes experience is more than age in terms of football dynamics is concerned. So for me, as you said already, the prospect of Shikobe turning at 31, if you look at her in training, you'll think that she's 12 years old because she's really, she's really working herself out. And you can realize at this time she's in a real prime age in terms of football matters. Because, you know, for example, when a player hits 26, going, for example, to 35, she has already experienced everything. So it's nothing about to fear, but to generate the confidence within the team squad that everything is possible. So this is the mental aspect that experienced players give you. And for me, I think if you look at Dorka Shikobe as the head captain at the moment, she's doing justice to the band because she's leading by example. She for example, won't check at this is the first player coming to the national team, or this is a 15-year-old, just like what Gentrix came in 2017. No, she's really very cooperative in terms of gelling with the rest of the players that we bring in the camp. So what a captain you need also, you need a captain who has a good squad mentality. He should always look that the capabilities within the playing squad, they are capable of doing it. And this is also what has played very well for us. And also the other part, he articulates, he represents us properly. Because for me as a coach, not every time I'll be talking on behalf of the team. No, sometimes you can see when she is presenting us, I feel comfortable because I feel even she's representing all the players and also the technical bench as a whole. This is what you need in leadership. So having said so, I think also Mona Lima, she's learning from this. And also the third captain, who is Corazon, she's learning from this. So this is the aspect for me as a coach I'm looking about. So talking about experience and talking about the professional players, you need to have experience, for example, in your team. Because the experienced players already, if you are meeting, for example, these top teams, like, for example, Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria, some of these experienced players, they have some information which they can share with the trainers. Maybe they have played with these players before. They'll share this with their teammates in the field. The coach trains the players to their capabilities. And the players, they have to find solutions within the game. This is what you should know. So if the players can find solution within the games by themselves, then you know you have done a good job as a coach. So in this, having said so, having experience, for example, like what you are discussing, also that our players can play on the outside, it will expose them to other nationalities, other players that are playing in for their nation. So when they are coming back, if they look in the other side, they're already knowing the traits of those players. This is most what we lack at this level.
Okay. Now, just before we touch on now the general football in Kenya, we want to pose questions to David Ouma. How important, we've touched on that experience, how important is it to just have a few heads in your team that have been there, done that in terms of experience?
Why are you looking at me? It is very essential, Devin, because as Coach David Ouma has rightly put it, when you come up against a team like Ghana or Cameroon or the Shipolo Polos, he might not have that pep talk after 45 minutes every time. You have that experienced player who might just get into that dressing room and talk the ladies into playing a much more calmer football. And that's what you need, because when you have an experienced player, Delvin, as a coach, when they're out there, you're much more relaxed on your bench because they'll play as per instructions. That's the key of having an experienced player, because you have all this young in there, Delvin. When things start going south, they lose their heads completely. But you have the Mola Limas, the Corazons. When you have them out there, you trusted generals, Delvin. As David Ouma, you can sit easy and rest easy on the technical bench.
Okay.
But I think another advantage also with experienced players is, if I've been playing football for a longer time than you, I also know how to pick out my opponent's weaknesses.
Absolutely.
You get? So if I'm new in this game, I can't pick out, I don't know what to be looking for. Unlike someone who's experienced, I know who I have to man mark, I know whose weaknesses I need to be looking at, whose game change I need to be checking. So there is an importance of having certain experienced players there to kind of set the pace for the younger ones, basically. Yeah.
Okay, now David Ouma, now we want to ask you questions here just concerning Kenyan football in general. And the first one is quite a negative one. It's something that has been lingering since last year, and it is this FIFA ban that we have been flirting with. I just want to ask you how, if this ban is imposed on the Starlets as well, how will it affect our progression as a national team?
I think, for me, I think it's a fundamental question. And in terms of what I've seen until now, the work that has been done, I think this is a discussion, in my own opinion, I think this is a discussion that we should not be having at this particular moment in our country. If you look in terms of what has been done so far, if you put it point to point, for example, what is the point-to-point situation I'd like to talk about? Is our national teams playing at least 4 matches in a year? The answer will be yes, it's possible. Are our little kids kicking the ball around across the country? Yes, they are doing so, including from the age of 13, where the league is. So these are the fundamental. Is the structured competitive leagues ongoing? Yes, it's going. Are the team being promoted in respective all the 7 cluster of the league? Yes, there is a promotion and demotion criteria. So are the academies being recognized across the country that they are doing a good job, supplementary to what the federation is doing? Yes, the federation is recognizing this. So if you look at this aspect, it's about administration. And professionalism thrives when the administration is trying to put an open situation for every person to exploit his talents. So in terms of the media, the content enough in the sportive fraternity to share with our brothers and sisters across the country? Yes, there are enough content. So this is something that for me as a coach, when we are talking about the ban issue, it's not crossing my mind. And why is it not crossing my mind? Because if you look at 2006, when we were banned by FIFA, many things could not happen, for example. So we have just talked about the national team. So you should realize that the national team won't be exposed sufficiently in the major competition, like the World Cup qualifiers, like the Olympics. And of course, you should know that CAF is also an affiliate also for FIFA. So there is a minimal communication, for example, that also FIFA can influence this situation that you cannot participate in this qualifiers match for CAF. So this is something that is a very, very articulate situation that will deny the confidence of our players who are playing abroad at the moment. When you receive ban as a country, it will minimize the confidence of the players abroad. It will deny the opportunity of the players turning professional. This is something that you should know. But in our own front, you should realize that it will minimize the hosting rights of any major tournament that, for example, we will put across. And going forward, you see there are investors who are there. For example, currently you can see the Safaricom Chapadimba going across all 47 regions. Look at a company like Betika, it's coming in the game. There is Betway, it's coming in now. The federation is partnering with this situation. There is also other institutions like Wadi Degra. They are coming to partner with the federation. You can see now the schools are coming to partner with the federation. So these are the fundamental aspects that we should look as a nation. And having said so, the most important thing is, in terms of talking about the ban, it's uncalled for because it's a simple dynamic situation. Yeah. As a patriotic and a loyal Kenyan, if I'm following the developments, what has happened, football is governed by the rules that is set internationally by FIFA, which is an international body. And the statutes are always there for all of us to click by a button. And having said so, the governing situation of a country is governed by the local member association, which is now currently FKF. So FKF from the FIFA statute, it has also its own statute. So the next step is the federation partners also with the government in terms of development to our children, because the government has the capability to ensure that all the kids are being developed sufficiently. And that's why you can see, because the federation is having the under-13 leagues, they are now engaging the government agencies in terms of teaching all the coaches across the country about child protection and rights of our kids, so that the coaches handle our kids properly. And this is the turning point. So the turning point is in matters football, the government partners with the federation. And therefore, if you look at the aspects that you have been seeing, for example, the rulings that are coming across, for me, I will just say in a simple situation, it's a mechanism within our own country to ensure that, for example, things continue to move in the smooth way. The smooth way is that the ball has to be kicked on every weekend in the field. Is this being done? For me, I can say the answer is yes. So I will not continue to be further on it, but in terms of what I've talked about, the clubs, they talk about revenues. For example, today, Ruth Ngosi and Annette Kundu, they went to Cyprus. They are playing for Eldoret Falcon. The Eldoret Falcon accept to get some funds from this kind of transfer. So I think also clubs are doing business in terms of with the players to expose them. So this is going to be possible. So I think this is something that also, as a nation, what the ban can do to our game. It's very expensive to take a ban at this situation in life. Previously, the rate of communication was too low. The rate of, for example, like now we are being on Skype, we are talking, is too. All the mediums of communication at this moment is too high. It's not like previously that you had to have minimal platform to talk to each other. The essential thing is, if we have found the steps that Harambee Starlets is qualifying at the Women Africa Cup of Nations. If, for example, our women leagues are continuing across the country. If, for example, Harambee Stars are qualifying at the Africa Cup of Nations. If, for example, Harambee Stars are winning Sekafa, Harambee Starlets are winning Sekafa, we have to also find the solution. And the solution is about tolerance to the future of professional stars in our country.
Absolutely. Okay, now it's something I don't want us to touch on because we have touched on it so much regarding this ban. Yeah. But we just hope that we can get out of this situation as soon as possible. Now, because my director is informing me that the Health Cabinet Secretary Kagwe will be having a press briefing any time from now. Now, any questions you'd like to pose to David Ouma before we wrap up the show?
Maybe Nicolette, because I've expounded all my questions.
I don't have a question. For me, it's just it's more of a congratulations for the work that he's been doing, and we really hope and pray that the ban doesn't go through, because I feel like right now, especially when it comes to the female side of sports, of football right now, it has progressed. So it would be very unfortunate if all his work and the work of the players just goes down the drain because of unprofessionalism in terms of the administration part. Okay, now, Coach, for me, I have a question for you. Now, it's very easy for us as fans here to say we want to see progression in the national teams, but we all know football is a collective effort, and for the national teams to achieve these goals, what do you, who is in the system as a coach, what do you think the fans need to do more of?
Yeah, I think for me, first of all, I want also to congratulate, for example, if you look at our minister, Madam Ambassador Amina Mohamed, she stepped in to assist our women national team. And for me, I think that was a good turning point also in terms of what the realization that something good is being done. So having said so, in terms of the fans, I think Kenyans are really a sportive nation. And for me, I think the fans, they are they are those very patriotic fans. They are coming to the games. Like, for example, if you look at our match against Ghana, at least we had around 25,000 fans there. So for me, I think the fans, we continue to urge them to come to the stadiums, because it's when they identify themselves with the sport, they'll take another step of faith to come and support. So for me, I would like them to identify themselves, for example, and make it impossible to come to the stadium. Because if they come to the stadium, it's their brothers and their sisters that are playing in that stadium. They need their support.
Sure.
It's just like any other situation that you need. But the fans motivate the game.
Yeah.
And when they motivate the game, because they are fans, the enjoyment, the excitement within the game, this is what they bring in. So it's about the due diligence. For example, myself, when Harambee Stars is playing, I won't sit home. I'll come to the stadium to see them playing. So in this situation, I think we should, I see many clubs at this moment. This is one aspect that we should try to do, that our football fans across the country, just like how they are really in touch with Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, they should try and identify themselves with our local clubs and the clubs that, for example, are in a radius of 50 kilometers from where they stay, so that it's easier for them to be at that stadium. So it doesn't matter, for example, which team that we'll be supporting. But for me, I think if you are in a radius of 50 kilometers, it's easier for you to be on a weekend supporting a club. By doing so, you will improve also the living standard of our players. Most of the situation is, we have always been saying our football players are not played sufficiently, and it's a big debate across the country. But you should realize the simple step of coming to the field and paying your 50 shilling get entry will do a big punch for the club to sustain itself in the matches, to pay the salary of the players, just like what you are seeing the government is doing now. It's trying to supplement the money to see that it can pay also sports people. So for me, I would like the players to acquit themselves, the fans to acquit themselves with the clubs that are within their 50-kilometer radius, be it men or women teams within their communities.
Coach Ouma, unfortunately we are out of time here. Sorry for cutting you short. But for me, I'd like to say I appreciate you taking your time off to be a guest here on this show, and we hope that we can have you on other shows in the future as well. Now, let me thank my pundits here with me on set. Salim Waziri, thank you very much. Nicolette White, thank you very much. One message if you'd like to pass on to David Ouma very, very quickly before we end the show.
I'll just want to say, like Nicolette says, just a matter of congratulating him, because he has taken the Harambee Stars to a level no one thought they could get to. And for what he does, it is very unselfish, Delvin. And we want to say thanks to him and the Federation. And they should keep on with that, because there are a lot of talented ladies in this country.
Okay, Nicolette White, any word you'd like to add on to that?
I would just say keep up to the good work, because at least Stars are a joy to watch.
Yeah, we have seen what he's doing.
Okay, David Ouma, you've heard it from my pundits here congratulating you. I'll also congratulate you. Congratulations on the good work you've been doing, and we hope you can carry on with doing even better than what you achieved last year, and towards the beginning of this year, we hope you can achieve much, much more. Now, I'd like to let David Ouma now to leave us here as I sign off. Once again, you guys, thank you very much for being a part of the show. And to thank the viewers at home as well for being part of the show. And Bar Prince, as always, offset. I'd like to thank him as well for being part of the show. I'd like to thank my camera crew for making this possible, and everyone behind at the gallery, from the director and my cameraman here there who is pointing at himself, Suleiman. Thank you very much for making all this possible. Now, I want to wish you all a happy Easter weekend, and do stay indoors, do practice social distancing, and do keep safe. You'll catch me here on Monday, same time, for the 30-minute show, as I will be previewing Bar's team of the season. Now, until then, keep it sporty and do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.